So I do have a news article here describing this case just to give us the basic facts. It did. Let's see. Yes. Okay. I was a little confused there about which state we were in because of the acronym they use for the police station. But it is Nashville, Tennessee, where this occurred. So it's Metro Nashville PD. For a second, I thought, oh my gosh, is it Minnesota? But no, it's Nashville. So headline, man armed with machete in stolen truck killed in claimed self-defense shooting, identified police say. What a terrible headline. It's so confusing. So the guy who stole the truck came out of the truck with a machete and ended up getting shot by the people seeking to recover the truck, the stolen truck. And his identity, the dead guy with the machete, was just released publicly by the police, is what that headline is trying to communicate. The Metro Nashville Police Department released the identity of the man shot and killed after allegedly stealing a pickup truck in Friday's claimed self-defense shooting. So the son who shot him is claiming self-defense. Police said a man, it's not a father and son, sorry, a man and his uncle. Police said a man and his uncle were working when they witnessed someone driving away in the uncle's pickup truck. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a theft of personal property. Can you use force to prevent a theft of personal property? You can. In 49 states, at most, you can use non-deadly force to do that. Only in Texas is there any possible provision for the use of deadly force in defense of mere personal property. And we're not talking here about a home or a place of business or an occupied vehicle, occupied obviously by a non-thief. Those might be highly defensible property. You might have special provisions for the use of deadly force to defend those forms of highly defensible property. But here the truck was unoccupied when it was stolen. So it's merely personal property. You can use non-deadly force to defend mere personal property, but only under extremely limited conditions. And believe it or not, those conditions may not apply here. This man and his uncle may have had zero privilege to use even just non-deadly force to recover this truck. I know that sounds hard to believe. What kind of world could that possibly be? Tennessee, one of the proudest stand your ground states in the country, they call stand your ground the true man defense, because a true man would stand his ground. Macho. And yet it has a extremely limited provision for the use of even non-deadly force in defense of property. So continuing with the news story, the stolen truck stopped, blah, blah, blah. The police said the driver got out, as did the man and his uncle in pursuit. The uncle said he saw the man reach for something believed to be a machete, and that's when his nephew shot him. Police said a machete was found at the scene. Officers also recovered a pistol from the scene, and the man who fired the shot, this would be the nephew. What a terribly written article. The nephew declined to speak with detectives before consulting an attorney. Metro Nashville PD said no charges had been filed at this time. Does that mean no charges will be filed? Nope, of course not. Who ultimately decides? The prosecutor will decide. Are there facts that could support charges in this case against the nephew for murder? Yeah, there are, believe it or not. Notable here, the man who fired the shot, the nephew, declined to speak with detectives before consulting an attorney. He did that right, folks. In our Law Self-Defense Advanced course, which of course is the sponsor of today's show, we spend, of that full day course, we spend almost an hour talking about interacting with the police in the aftermath of a use of force event. And there are at least 3 different types of police interactions you're going to have. And the answer for interacting is different for each of those 3 types of interactions. And those are the 911 call, you're interacting with police, the responding uniformed officers who show up on the scene in response to the 911 call. That's the second type of interaction. And third, the detectives, the investigators. 3 very different types of interactions. There may be things that you want to say without a lawyer present on the 911 call. In fact, there's no point in making a 911 call if you're not going to say anything. That just doesn't make any sense, right? 911, what's your emergency? You're not going to call and literally not talk to 911. It doesn't make any sense. There may be things you want to say to the responding officers who are physically on the scene, have the option to collect evidence. There is zero reason to talk to detectives or investigators without your attorney present. There is no upside. There's only downside. And the downside could be the rest of your life in prison. So certainly this nephew, when he declined to talk with detectives before consulting an attorney, made the right call. Now, most criminal defense attorneys will tell you not to talk to anybody without your attorney present. I think that's an oversimplification in a self-defense type of scenario, but it is absolutely true that if you say nothing, there's nothing that you said that could be used against you in court. Now, there are circumstances in which your silence can be used against you in court. Believe it or not. I know, Fifth Amendment, right to silence, right not to testify against yourself. We'll talk about it all in the October 7th Law Self-Defense Advanced class, lawselfdefense.com/advanced.